Good morning, everybody. It is April 20th. It's Tuesday morning, and right now we're taking a quick look at ChainLink. I really like the price action that ChainLink has been stuck in right now. For the past 5 days, we've been downtrending, we've been consolidating, and earlier or literally beginning of the month is where we had that breakout outside of this resistance zone that we've been where sellers have been driving the price down. So we know exactly where the support was the whole time at the $24 to the $25, and we know that the sellers themselves were driving were coming into the market a lot more aggressively. And as soon as we had a breakup above that, that indicated a shift in the current trend. Sellers now lost at this point, and we saw a catalyzed price action up towards the $44. So right now, this is where we're stuck in. For the past 4 or 5 days, we've been seeing that retracement. Obviously, a couple of days ago is where we're having that major downtrend in the whole market, and everything was consolidating with Bitcoin going crazy. Now, right now, we're seeing that some of the support from the buyers is coming back again into ChainLink, and we're seeing that today ChainLink is trying to find that support at those previous highs of this pattern we have. So overall, we are trying to find that support. We're having some nice wicks to the bottom here. So if I zoom in, we'll see that today sellers tried to drive the price all the way down to the $33.13. Buyers rejected the price, and we went past the opening price, and right now we're sitting at the $37. So it's a good day so far. ChainLink is up currently, I guess, 4%, so that's pretty good. It's not so bad, and it looks like we did try to find that support at the 21 EMA basically. So we always try to, just if I see here, yesterday we actually went to find the support at it, and then every time we downtrend below it, we actually try to close above it every time. And as soon as we broke above it this time over here, we still again find that support, go above, try to come close to it, and then you can also combine that with a bit of a lower time frames over here. For example, the 12 hugs it pretty well. So lower, if you want to see the next most obvious price action, you always look at those slower, smaller EMAs. And if you want to go a bit more mid time frame and all that, 21 to 55 and so forth. But this just gives you a bit of a guidance right now, so you don't just fully rely on them, but it gives you a bit of a guidance or visibility on what the next price action would be. But right now we're seeing that the buyers are putting up a fight for the longest time here. We're seeing that retracement happen. Buyers are just completely being driven down out of the market, and today they are putting up a fight. That's pretty good overall. If we go to the even here on the MACD, we've been downtrending, so soon enough here we might go to the negative. It's pretty close, and if we go to the negative, it's just telling you that overall now the market or the price action is completely driven by the sellers. So we need to see now, is ChainLink gonna have a continued retracement below these levels, or buyers going to come in soon? In my case here is the fact that we're going to get squeezed sometime soon over in this region, and a breakout above that will happen. If it does, and we're just going to see what criteria would have to be met for this breakout to happen. So right now, if we go again to maybe lower time frames at the 12-hour, we see a bit more clearly what's going on. We're seeing at the at the 10-hour, we're seeing that overall we have good volume spikes at those levels. So that's something that we need to keep in mind. So even over here, we're seeing the last previous candle, we're seeing that we have a good volume spike around those lower $30 region. Even this one over here, same thing. We're having very nice volume spikes at the bottom. So buyers are coming in at those lower levels, which is pretty good. It's telling you that there's pretty good support. And this one over here, same thing. Somewhere around this region, as soon as we retrace down, buyers come right in, drive it up. As soon as we retrace down to this level, buyers come in and drive it right above it. So the recent candle here found that support at the 100 EMA, which is pretty good, and it actually closed above the previous low we had, and then we formed a higher low. So we have the support that we're having overall, and then we haven't really broke the low yet, which is pretty good. And right now sellers start to come in. Soon enough we're gonna have that squeeze in price, and we will see what happens. Right, overall, if we're uptrending into this wedge, we will see that we will need to break out of it. So that's what the majority of the market would be forecasting or waiting on what to happen next, a break above that. If we're downtrending into it, if we're coming into it this way and we start doing having this symmetrical wedge, then we actually are expected to downtrend out of it. So that's what we're having. We're still forming those higher lows in terms of closing prices. That's pretty good. We're continuing to stay above the 55 EMA. That's also pretty good. Volume spikes every time we go to those lower levels, and that's pretty good as well. Now, another thing we need to keep in mind as well is the fact that stochastic RSI over here is all the way in the bottom, as well as the RSI has been making its way down. It's more towards the neutral side, but you know, it's at least not telling us that we are overbought, meaning that we are to continue to have that downtrend. So overall, you can see here, if we zoom out a bit, we'll see that the overall stochastic RSI in the bottom. So I'm just gonna maybe circle it for you here. We'll go to this guy over here. So we'll have every time the stochastic is all the way in the bottom. So let's just go from previous times here. So every time the RSI itself is in the neutral or in the bottom side, combined with the stochastic all the way in the bottom and the MACDs all the way in the bottom, we expect some sort of a movement upwards. So now we'll see that the RSI here is all the way in the bottom, stochastic is all the way in the bottom, MACD is all the way in the bottom. We have a nice uptrend right after. So we have something like this. Again, if you go somewhere else, maybe somewhere over here, MACD is all the way in the bottom, so RSI is all the way in the bottom, stochastic, MACD, uptrend. Same thing over here. So RSI could be in the neutral, stochastic all the way in the bottom, MACD is in the bottom, and then we push upward. So you'll see that somewhere, you know, close to a lot of those, and even if you go in lower time frames, you'll see that. But right now we're seeing that, you know, sometime soon here we should expect some sort of an uptrend according to the indicators. So not everything is fully, you know, bound to happen 100%, but it just gives you a bit of visibility on what to look for and what to expect in the market, and not to get surprised if there's a movement that goes, you know, why did it go above or why did it go below? This is what those indicators tell you, but they're not the full, you know, you don't base your plan fully on it, but it gives you visibility on what the next target should be, or where the traders should be taking profits or selling at. So it gives you a bit of a some indication to what your plan should look like. So this is what we're having on the 10-hour. It's good signs of a reversal coming up soon. We could have a bit of a leg down still, struggle for a bit until we break above, and then we continue. Now, if you go to the middle time frames, maybe if you go to the 4-hour chart here, we'll see, you know, a bit more visibility on it. We're seeing that we could be forming that wedge. Now it's more clear that wedge. We're seeing that we have the sellers coming in more aggressively, and the buyers have been coming in a lot more aggressive than the sellers. Sellers just started to creep into the market. Buyers have been in the market, and this support line overall has been helping us out. So now any break below this is not a good sign. So that's what we need to keep in mind. And sometime soon here the price will squeeze, and you can see here that the RSI has been in the bottom for a while. We've been having those lower lows as we move forward, so we also need to keep that in mind, and we need the RSI also to break above this area and this region overall to see that continued uptrend happening. And you know, the past couple of candles, very nice volume, and the MACD, so the momentum for the sellers has been decreasing. The first time here we dropped, we stayed in the bottom for a while. This time over here, this time we're having that the sellers are not really gaining that major momentum as they did before. So that's something we need to always keep in mind, and also try to see how that fits into our forecast. So soon enough here, I think that's what the majority of the market is looking at. Soon enough, I would say, if we maybe give it some time to see where we can expect some sort of a breakout. Looks like, you know, within the next, I would say, so 20 bars, 80 hours, you know, couple 3-4 days is where we will see ChainLink make that movement. But you know, sometimes a lot of those times buyers aren't really as patient, and you know, whatever's going on with Bitcoin might trickle down a lot more here, and we'll see a continued uptrend regardless of these lines over here. So we wouldn't have to really wait till the end, but it's good overall. Now the criteria that we will need to see for this pattern to hold, you don't want to see ChainLink having a lower low, meaning that, you know, overall we've been every time we downtrend, we have form a higher low, form a higher low, higher low, higher low as we move forward, and we never actually break below the previous low we have. Now we made this and we made this over here. We typically would see ChainLink doing something like this, scribble around for a bit here, break above, come down to retest this level, and then shoot up. Now when it shoots up, we take the length of this base of this wedge and project it where that breakout could be. And I think this takes us somewhere close, yeah, close to the $50 or 48 to the $50 region is where we, I think most of the traders would actually typically try to take their profits, and then we'd have another downtrend. Same thing we had over here, right? On a macro scale, we have this descending triangle, break above, we go above, come back down to retest, push up, break this previous high we had, then come back down to retest those previous levels, because we need to prove that those are resistances. And once we prove that those became a resistance zone, is when we, okay, so this is the new price for ChainLink, this is the typical, this is the normal, and then we continue to maybe move sideways and hold that zone for a bit. So now this is what's happening. Now if we are seeing that ChainLink actually doesn't do this, and we start seeing ChainLink do something similar to this, where we have a low, higher low, we come to somewhere this way, it actually breaks below, and this is the line that we have, this is the previous low we have. So for us to invalidate this pattern we got, we'll see ChainLink actually start to go below this level over here. So it starts to go below this and actually close below it. Once we close below it is when we need to, okay, be alarmed for a bit. Comes back to retest and actually push back down to these maybe lower levels that we got. Maybe, oh man, maybe not all the way here. I would say somewhere, you know, close to here. So, or maybe just retest those levels that we have before on this VPVR. But at least we know for a fact that this is the floor, and we know that we got a couple of support zones overall. Here, I would say this would be the first step. Then again, overall we have somewhere around this region over here. So there's a lot of cushion for when we fall, 100%. But if it falls, then we're gonna struggle for a bit, I would say, and remain here for a while until ChainLink actually picks up that momentum again, because we just failed. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's see how this plays out. This is the criteria we're looking at. Overall, if we're looking from a technical perspective, we're uptrending into a wedge. Buyers are coming in more aggressively. Sellers just got into the market. Those lower mid time frames are looking good. We're having decreased momentum from the sellers, even up to the 6 hours as well. We're seeing that happen. Stochastics all the way in the bottom. And the 10-hour also has been kind of stagnating a bit. It's not really pushing that much. And we're seeing very nice long wicks to the bottom. So that's what we need to see. We need to see ChainLink break above this level. And if we start to having lower highs, lower lows, sorry, then that's where we need to be worried. So that's pretty much it. Your daily ChainLink update. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my analysis in the comment section below. And if you find anything interesting in the market that you'd like us to talk about, please let us know as well in the comment section. If you'd like to support us on Patreon, then check out the link in the description below. It would definitely help out a lot. Thank you for watching and have a great day.